So much has happened since I last saw you.
Rocky was not a movie I grew up with, and I ended up seeing it in my early 20s because I was tired of hearing people say, "You haven't seen Rocky?" And now that I've seen it, I find myself saying this exact same thing to other people because I'm completely in love with this romantic drama. Hello, I'm the Lazy Critic, and I'm about to explain how the very first Rocky is a romance movie first, boxing movie second. In 1976, Rocky first graced the screen and was originally written by Sylvester Stallone, who also stars in the movie as Rocky, a southpaw boxer living alone in Philadelphia, searching for love until one day he takes a chance by asking out the cute pet shop employee, and his whole life changed. Like any relationship, each person comes with a lot of baggage. Rocky with his boxing, and Adrian with her crappy brother. However, through the love they share between them, develops into an epic romance that lasts for decades, as proven through all 8 of the movies that come from this franchise. Rocky first starts off with barely any words being spoken, and he seems like a lonely boxer drifting through the Philadelphia winds with no real direction. Even the first time we see Rocky fight, it seems like he's fighting just because he's good at it. Maybe at one point he has had a real passion for it, but this first scene of him fighting is sadder than the scene of him strolling around the streets of Philadelphia because he looks like a man who just has no purpose. However, as a member of the audience, I know that he's a good guy because of how much he cared for the pets in his apartment. He is a strong and aggressive boxer, but he's also a sweetheart looking for company. So when Adrian first walks into the narrative, he turns into a big marshmallow. All the power he had gained from the ring does nothing for him as he tries to talk to the cute pet shop employee. As their love blossoms, Rocky becomes a better boxer, and with the love and support from Adrian, he was able to take on Apollo Creed, the undisputed heavyweight world champion. If it were not for Rocky and Adrian's relationship, Rocky never would have lasted one round with Apollo Creed. Adrian is a very special character who starts off as a very shy and timid woman. Even while on their first date, it looks like she's intrigued by him, but for whatever reason, most likely because of her stupid brother, she feels the need to hold back. It's pretty obvious that Rocky has a big fat crush on Adrian, but through some of the smaller moments, Adrian really starts to come out of her shell and finds the confidence she had been missing for so many years with him. However, the same can be said about Rocky. Rocky tries so hard to impress Adrian. He's persistent in his pursuit. He really only talks when he's around her, and he never talks this way with anyone else. Rocky feels comfortable enough to say every thought within his head.
Originally done it, look, push the button. Bong.
In my experience, having this level of comfort is what allows for people in a relationship to have a stronger connection with one another. There is value in being able to confide in your partner as well as being open with them. Just by observing their first date at the ice rink, it's looking like their chemistry gives promise to a potential relationship. It literally looks like 2 lonely people finally found the company they needed. I would also like to point out that as pushy and persistent as Rocky is in his pursuit of Adrian, he is a gentleman at heart and is never overly aggressive with his desire for her. Besides the fight at the end of the movie, Rocky kissing Adrian for the first time is the best scene of the whole movie. Rocky encourages Adrian to come into his apartment, and to me it looks like Adrian wants to go in, but she's just a little bit shy with the whole situation, and I think subconsciously Rocky puts a lot of space in between them while they're inside of his apartment because he wants her to feel comfortable the way he feels comfortable with her. So by allowing her to have her own space and not being too pushy, Adrian is finally able to give herself over to the passion that she feels for Rocky and kisses him. It's a really beautiful moment. To me, this whole scene foreshadows the final fight scene because whether he's inside of a boxing ring or living life, his persistent nature does a lot for him, and it's the main tool that he used in his fight with Apollo. Now that Adrian and Rocky are in a full-on relationship together, Adrian looks brighter. She sits with Rocky talking about his upcoming fight, and I love how open her body is. She looks like she's in a better headspace by finding a partner in Rocky. She is no longer a timid pet shop employee. She's Adrian, which is such an important development within her character because once she has made it to this level of confidence, she was able to finally stand up to her brother, say everything she kept to herself, and from this one fight, we are able to see a fully fleshed out character embrace her newfound confidence. The best part of this scene is how Rocky handles the situation. This fight was between Adrian and her brother, and Rocky knew his place within the argument. He doesn't try to intervene while she yells at her brother, but acts as a safety net for Adrian to speak her mind and give over to everything she had buried deep down within her feelings towards her brother. So when Adrian's brother, Paulie, tries to escalate the situation, this is where Rocky finally steps in and diffuses the situation because Paulie knows he needs to stop, and there's no way he would win in a fight with Rocky. Boxing is only one side to Rocky, and as the movie pushes forward, he learned his value because of the relationship he has with Adrian. Most of the movie, he holds a very low opinion of himself. When Apollo first approaches him in a fight, he initially thought it was to be his sparring partner, not as an actual competitor with a chance to fight him for the world championship belt. So when the fight actually happens with Apollo, we get to watch a completely different man take him on. Being a boxer or being good at fighting is not enough when it comes to taking on the boxing champion of the world. You have to be in a good headspace in order to survive the fight, and it's all because of his love for Adrian that lets him get as far as he did. The fight goes on for so long that I feel their exhaustion during the fight. Round after round after round after round. I swear it only lasted this long because Rocky applied the same persistence he used while wooing Adrian to fight Apollo. This is how strong love can be. I love this movie and I love this franchise. The Rocky and Adrian relationship plays a very special part in each movie. For those out there still watching, do you think I'm crazy? Do you think I'm reading too much into their relationship? Because I will be the first to admit that I'm a romantic at heart, and I can be a little obsessive when it comes to relationships within a movie. I like to ship everybody. However, I really do think that Rocky is a romance movie. It's romance first, boxing second.